Okay, I think that we can start. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
You're all set, William.
Awesome. So, good morning, everyone. It's a great opportunity to meet you again. And hopefully some of the material that I'm going to be covering today is new for you guys, and you have the opportunity to use it tomorrow. My name is William Nieves, Industrial Network Engineer for Thorold & Hughes. Remember, Thorold & Hughes is not only an authorized distributor from Rockwell, we are also an authorized service provider. And many of the subjects that you're going to hear today are under the umbrella of what we can do as an authorized service provider. That's how it stands ASP. Our conversation today is going to be focusing the value of an ASP assessment and why it's relevant, why we should be promote them. The agenda, very straightforward. We're going to talk about the current state of industrial automation control system. We're going to make some reference about what is a digital transformation, and we finish talking about details of the assessment that we are proceeding right now, that we're executing, running right now. So let's start with the current state of our industrial automation control system. I think that a key word or a key sentence that summarizes where we are is organic growth. Basic index follow the state of our manufacturing sector. As of January 2020, we have the PMI at 50%, GDP growing 2.4%. So basically, this means that there is some level of stagnation. Not necessarily we're growing, and not necessarily we're moving backwards. Our customers are dealing with this dilemma. If we're not growing enough, do we need to spend? Do we need to save? How this question is made and the type of answers that they can find will be very relevant for us, because that will be the factor that will help us introducing services like assessments overall. This is the reality of many factories today. They have an old system, and they're doing is just adding new devices, and they want this to work. And they are telling you guys, especially the engineers, make it work, make it run. They don't want to spend, because for them, spending implies cost, implies dealing with plant managers, with procurement, or dealing with uncertainty, as we saw before. The market is not growing fast enough. Do we really need to put that much money in our factories? Now, when you cannot answer the question, what I have, you start dealing with situations like this one. I know that there is something in that panel. I know there is something in my factory, but I have no idea what is it. I don't know if it's too old. The only thing that I know is I see green lights. It's supposed to be working. This should not be the way to work. And we have a way to help our customers dealing with these scenarios. Now, one consequence of not knowing what you have or dealing with old technology is downtime. And it's very clear for us that this is a major factor for customers where they are calling you guys, because now they realize we have a problem, we're losing money. But can we help customers to, before losing money, create a strategy that would allow them to avoid the downtime? Can we? The answer is yes. And one of the first steps going in that direction is an assessment. Another situation of this stagnation that we see in the manufacturing area is today, like never before, our infrastructure is exposed. There is not a surprise that in the last 2 years, $11.7 billion has been related with ransomware attacks. And 53%, more than 50% of our manufacturing sector has some type of experience with a cybersecurity breach. We cannot allow this to continue. We have to take care of our customers, and we have ways to help our customers. Now, beyond the cyber attacks and beyond an old infrastructure, there are other things that are affecting our customers, and they need help for that. Higher quality standards and raising labors, operating and maintenance costs is affecting our customers. Increased security and strengthened government regulations. Our customer call you and say, can you confirm if this device follow up TUV? Can my process be validated? What I have to do to move forward for a state of condition that allow my system to be defined as a safety system. This is another area that the assessment will help the customer. Overall, main factors affecting our customers today: legacy hardware, poor support, data and missing inventory, too much inventory, network performance, uncommon expansion, reliability issues. They want to virtualize, analytics readiness, security concerns. So this is where we are today. It's not necessarily bad, just because there is a tendency here, as we saw at the beginning, our manufacturing sector is not growing fast enough. But we have ways to help the customers. And in order to help the customer, we have to embrace this idea of a digital transformation. It's happening right now. It's happening in front of us. A digital transformation pretty much is a combination of traditional manufacturing processes enhanced with new advising technologies. These work together to drive manufacturing forward and address inefficiencies in the current sector. The old and the new must work together. We cannot just take everything apart and start from zero. Now, do I really need to have a lot of money to start? No, but you need to start if you really want to move forward, if you really want to address what is coming in the 21st century that is now. Reality check. 64% of our customers, of manufacturers out there, rely more on experience when they addressing key business issues. 25% of them using data for proactive purposes. Only 25% of them. 57% using a spreadsheet to analyze sensor data. Bizarre, right? Someone said the problem isn't a lack of data, it's a lack of connectivity. This is what we see coming or happening with our customers. They are moving from a hierarchical, historical data to a transparent live data. Here you can see that every single level of the manufacturing process, it will be connected and it will be using the IIoT transformation infrastructure, the network that we are putting together for them. Relying in information, relying in data is supposed to be affecting every single phase in any process. It's not just one person, one entity, or one group in control of data. The data has to be available to everyone out there. This is what is happening, and this is where everyone is moving towards. So remember, we start talking about spending, and saving. There is a balance that we have to keep. We cannot just jump into a rush strategy to make everyone IoT ready, Industry 4.40 ready. Not everybody has infrastructure or capacity or the way to do it. So how we can talk about spending and savings at the same time? How we can help our customers to understand that the spending is saving when you have a strategy behind. No matter what, and regardless the customer, saving is a priority. So the assessment is a way to save. The assessment is a way to support what is coming next. The assessment is a blueprint to help our customers to move towards that digital transformation. An assessment is saving. Your customer, our customer is not spending because an assessment is saving. And how we know that that's true? Well, let's see the data. Early IoT investments are driving results. All these are metrics founded from manufacturers, customers that are embracing this digital transformation. Savings were business analytics, product quality, maintenance, increased speed of operations, improved information for production decisions, decreased manufacturing costs, improved coordination with customers. So it's clear that when you have the right strategy, well-funded, you will save money. It is possible or impossible to do. Let's say this. Okay, William, seems to be that you made the case. I'm going to be saving money. And seems to be that I have to do it sooner than later. I know that it is critical for me, even though if I have an old system, that I have to proceed with migration, with updates, and I have to do it in a coordinated way. But how? I want a specific way to do it. Just answer the question. What will be my first step tomorrow? What I have to do? When you're trying to answer that question, you can see like academic way to see it, like this one. It's a modern approach for addressing the value of the technology assessment and planning. So when you read about it, they talk about a discovery process. You have to lead a discovery process. Step 1, assess and analyze. Step 2, define and develop. Step 3, document and validate. But when you read and keep looking into how to proceed with that first step, every single process out there, no matter what, show that number 1, you have to assess what you have, period. So it's not us trying just to sell a service. Is that the right way to proceed with this digital transformation, with this improvement, with this way of saving is with an assessment. So let's see what Rockwell is telling us about it. So we have to deal with the concept of the connected enterprise. Every single element that we have out there in our portfolio, every single device, your PLCs, your HMIs, switches, everything is related with this idea of the connected enterprise. With every single piece of information that you have in any of these devices can be shared, can be exposed, can be presented, can be logged, can create context overall. So Rockwell is telling us that for the connected enterprise, there are 5 stages. Number 1, assessment. Secure and upgrade, number 2. Number 3, working data capital. Number 4, analytics. Number 5, optimize and collaborate. Yes, you saw it. Number 1, assessment. So it's happening. It's clear. This is how we can help our customers with GPS way of work, a map or a blueprint where our customer can have a way to operate in a secure way and in a smart way. So I'm trying at this point to make a case for you guys. Our customers are not just spending money. They are embracing the first stages for savings. So if that's true, and if it's clear that the first step that I have to do, the first thing that I have to do is an assessment. What kind of assessment I can use? What kind of assessment you have? So let's talk about the ASP assessment. We are answering these questions: what, how, and when. And we see the customers, and we see pretty much 5 areas where we can help. Concerns about threat of cyber or physical attacks. Skills gap. My people in my factory, they have goodwill, but probably they're not strong enough about some technical concepts. We're addressing operational efficiency and MRO spend. We're addressing aging infrastructure and schedule downtime. And we're addressing also environmental risk, regulatory compliance. How? For threat and cyber, network and security services. We can help you in that arena. Skills gap, workforce training. Total and Rockwell has an extended list of ways to help our end customers and the team, the technical team there, with training in different areas. Equipment commissioning, if we are thinking about operational efficiency. Modernization and analytics service, aging infrastructure, and safety services, if we're linking with environmental risk. Now, remember these 5 areas, because let's take 2 of them. For safety services and equipment commissioning, we're offering Black Out, Tag Out program, our flash assessment, drive startup, and SHAMP. There are very specific things happening with these programs. Reducing risk, increased competency, improved documentation, all kind of compliance, protecting people, enable training, all these things are involved here. Remember, safety services and equipment commissioning. 2 of the 5 stages of the ASP services. A few weeks ago, we had the opportunity to learn about the install base evaluation. Well, this is part of something broader called an automation assessment. And that automation assessment, it will help your customers with modernization and analytics services. A few weeks ago, we heard about my equipment launch kit. And we realized that with an assessment of this nature, your customer is addressing questions about the asset lifecycle, inventory, modernization and planning, and enable proactive remediation when a problem happens. Live data, real-time information about your assets. What do you have? What is coming to be, or what it will be obsolete very soon? What is the right replacement? What kind of critical asset I have in my plan that I'm not aware of? This is something that in many instances is step number 1 before any other type of assessment. And this is something done very fast, and it's done with full support of Rockwell, of course, but using a series of techniques that are very special. Every single piece of information is become a digital record, and in no time the customer actually will have access to this information through different types of devices, cell phones, computers, a simple app. So this is new, right there in the middle of the factory floor. Your customer, our customer, can use, look at that and see, this is what I have in this production line, and I know that in a few months I need to make an update in the firmware. That kind of thinking is happening now in a faster way. So it's not necessary to set up a meeting and trying to figure it out when and how we're going to be doing some change in hardware and so on. We hear about this, and I will encourage you to go back in one of the previous records, one of the previous webinars, look for the install base evaluation and complement what I'm saying here through that video. An assessment, it will impact the way that we're moving forward, that's for sure. At this point, we have an idea of what to do first, right? But there is more. And it has to deal with something that we touched at the beginning of this conversation, and is how devices can be integrated, how an old product can be integrated into a new network or vice versa. How can I create a way to protect my networks? And I like to say this all the time. Security by obscurity is absurdity. Not because it's all is safe. That's no longer the case. with our proposals for network and security services. Today, we address three areas. We're addressing three specific areas. A standard network assessment, security, and design. So no longer we're going to see what is the current state of a network, but we came also with options to addressing potential risk related with cybersecurity, or even better, help the customer to move forward with the updates in that network. A standard network assessment provides an effective means to evaluate the current condition of a design or implemented network and security design, program, and policies. We're not just telling the customer your network is bad. They know that, probably. We're putting in perspective key elements that probably they didn't thought about it. Let me give you an example. Today, the way that our customers are investing in their networks is going in this way. 7% in infrastructure, even though it takes 20 years of lifetime. 60% in software, when it's going to take only 2 to 5 years before you start thinking in change. So if I'm investing the less in infrastructure and it's going to take the longer because before doing any change on it, the problem with this approach is that 80% of network issues are related with infrastructure. So you're spending the less in something that is going to stay the longer, and you're going to have many of your network issues right there. So minimum investment in infrastructure can save a lot of money. So in our assessment, we prove this concept to our customers. And we prove it because we go beyond just looking into cabinets or addressing the most typical issues that you can see there. We look for key elements about how the network performs. And we introduce new ideas, probably ideas that the customer is not fully aware of. The ratings, the standards, and the regulations behind infrastructure. But it's not just the physical aspect of the network that we're interested to talk to them. We are also moving into a more deep matters of thinking, like the logical view of the network. How the network is interconnected, what is there. And we do it in a way that is unique for a regular network monitoring software or programs out there. We go all the way to the PLC. We don't stop in switches. And we are not just making reference about PLCs like this is an online device. The principles behind every single assessment that we're doing clearly are to help our customers. Some of these principles are related with efficiency, security, agility, and choice. What we want to say to our customers is that you can save money in capital expenditures, operating expenses. And we're sure that we can talk about numbers at some point. We're sure that we can offer to the customer network scalability, virtualization, reduction in support. We are sure that we can offer to the customer security without sacrificing productivity. We want to be sure that the customer is going to have information that they need to start making the right decisions tomorrow. And we want to be sure that at the end of the conversation that we have with them about our assessment, the customer will have a clear path to follow. Now, before finishing, I want to talk about something that is being more and more common out there. This idea of security. There is matters of concern just because every single week we see cases about how systems, critical systems like water plants, power plants overall, banks, hospitals are being under attack. And when you think about security, there is no one solution. When we are talking about security, we follow an idea where every single layer in your network need attention. And we're going to help you trying to figure it out which one of these layers is the most critical, or in which of these layers you will need to work the most. The journey of cybersecurity starts in, as many things that I've been saying here, with an assessment. And one particular assessment, brand new in our portfolio services, is called a security survey. Step one in that journey, you have to identify and prioritize. Then we move forward, and we're going to be all the way with you, or with the end customer in this journey. Threats and cybersecurity, intrusion, remote access, password, all that good stuff that we like to think about it. You need to put this in the right context. You need to prioritize what it would be first. And ASP assessments are one way, probably the best way, to see what of all these things that are happening around me need to be, how these things need to be listed, and what of these things has to be the first one to tackle. But yes, someone may say, I think that there is something missing from your portfolio services, and it's right. One more thing, training, the workforce training. And I like to put this as the last item in my conversation. And the reason is simple. You can have the strongest network. You can have the best hardware. You can have the most advanced software. But if you don't have anyone that understands and can work with them, you're not moving anywhere. So it's very common to hear when you do your sales calls or with the customer sharing information with us that there is a lack of good people out there. So how we can help our customers, how we can help you about understanding this new challenge facing this digital transformation. So Rockwell Automation and Turtle & Hughes has an extraordinary set of options. And we are not going to stop, even in the most radical cases, in helping your workforce understanding what is new. It doesn't matter the level of experience. It doesn't matter how long you've been working. Everyone requires training. And something very interesting that is happening today is now we're offering cloud-based training. In other words, from your office, from your home, you can have the type of training that you need to start acting properly tomorrow with your network or with your assets. I want to finish with a very simple thought. And when you think that you are under control, when you think that, okay, seems to be I don't have major issues here, so I don't need really to call anyone, probably you're moving way too slow. Probably you are not aware that change is happening. The change is forcing your competition to become better. So you're gonna just sit down and relax. After all, the network seems to be okay. Or after all, seems to be that I have control of my budget. Remember, moving slow probably is not the best way. People that you can reach about any of these assessments, or people that you can reach about any question related with this is here. Please take a moment to do a screenshot if you want, and feel free to reach us at any time. I'm going to open right now for your Q&As, if any. No questions?
I thought this was full this morning. We should wrappers. You go wrappers in there. Where you put them in your pocket and dumping them on the, giving them to the homeless people.